Today, it's no secret that valuations are closely correlated with growth rate. For software companies, growth rate, irrespective of burn or margins, is the single most important factor in determining valuation. For consumer companies, this just is not the case. Growth matters, but not at any cost. So for once, consumers are actually more rational. In consumer land, efficient growth is the gold standard. For consumer companies, adjusting growth rates for sales and marketing margins proves to be twice as correlated with valuation multiples. So if that's the most important thing, how do you create efficient growth? The two critical ingredients that we focus the most on are distribution and conversion. The first is distribution. This answers the question, how do you acquire users? Are you running on a paid marketing treadmill, or do you have an efficient acquisition model? Then conversion. How do you actually convert and optimize the behavior of those users? For almost 6 years, I've had to listen to my partner Jeremy lament the dearth of new distribution channels. It's been quite annoying. But fortunately, these days are over, and we're seeing the emergence of many new distribution and conversion models that are giving rise to the next generation of internet giants. Every few years, these waves of distribution open. Savvy startups find ways to leverage these channels to grow explosively. In the early 2000s, it was SEO arbitrage that was in vogue. This gave rise to the likes of Zillow, Yelp, and TripAdvisor. Our portfolio company Yelp was quick to identify and capitalize on this. Our investment memo from 2005 explains how it designed its site meticulously so that Google searches for local venues would list Yelp at the top. But today, this strategy would totally fail. The landscape is crowded, and Google uses its monopolistic power to promote its own search results. But a few years later, a new distribution channel emerged, as it always does, and the Facebook newsfeed became a customer acquisition goldmine. But just like Farmville, all good things come to an end. From 2013 to 2020, we entered what I call the distribution winter. Aside from messaging companies like our portfolio company Discord and Snap, that are inherently viral, most were forced to turn to expensive paid marketing for growth. This is a very costly dependency. Google, Facebook, and Amazon are a triopoly and account for 90% of online advertising. Luckily, the dry spell is over, and over the past year and a half, the floodgates have opened with many new distribution channels breathing new life into the ecosystem. I'd like to share a few examples of what we're seeing and where we're spending the most time making investments today. First is new platforms. VR, smart home devices, and the blockchain. All have reached a critical mass of adoption. Each of these platforms gives rise to new experiences and distribution models. I think we're nearing a tipping point in VR. In April, Oculus rolled out the ability to wirelessly stream games to the Quest 2 via Wi-Fi. This means a way better experience because you no longer need to be tethered to a PC and plugged in to play a game. And the cost of the devices is decreasing, making it more accessible and driving up sales. We recently invested in 4VR, a social VR gaming company that's capitalizing on this opportunity and growing quickly in the uncrowded Oculus App Store. For almost 10 years, I would complain that we hadn't seen any real consumer applications emerge on the blockchain other than digital gold, I suppose. But those days are done. This is exemplified with the rise of NFTs and crypto gaming experiences like Axie Infinity and our portfolio company SoRare. They are using the growing interest in crypto to acquire and incentivize users to become active community members. We're also paying attention to the proliferation of smart home technology and ambient devices. Today, over 50 million American households have smart speakers, so there's a huge opportunity to leverage this as a new consumer platform. Our company Volley is a voice-first gaming company that used the proliferation of Alexa devices to create a new entertainment experience and amass a sizable user base. We're now also seeing breakout consumer companies evolve into new distribution channels themselves. We first saw this with Snap and the Snap Kit functionality that developers can use to reach users in the Snap ecosystem and distribute third-party applications. Roblox and Discord are headed in the same direction, and I have so much conviction that there will be billion-dollar businesses started on both Roblox and Discord. We've already made 2 seed investments born of this thesis. With Facebook's nosebleed CPMs, we're also excited by companies that disintermediate Facebook and go direct to influencers and creators that own their audiences. This has created what we call the B2C2C model, business to creator to consumer, where startups partner with influencers or creators to reach eyeballs at scale. But distribution alone is just not enough. You can cast a big net and you can catch a whole lot of fish, but it doesn't matter if you can't reel them in. In other words, efficient acquisition is useless unless you can convert those users into engaged, long-term customers. This is the never-ending art of conversion optimization. There are countless sob stories of companies that nailed distribution but then failed at conversion. Case in point, Yik Yak, the anonymous messaging app that flourished in 2014. It grew virally and became one of the top 5 apps with millions of users within a matter of months. It raised $62 million at a $400 million valuation. But its meteoric growth masks the many challenges it faced converting users into healthy, long-term customers. If you were ever on the app, you definitely know what I'm talking about. And by 2016, it shut down. Clubhouse is somewhere in between. It nailed distribution, but is still figuring out conversion. When we evaluate early-stage investments, we look for teams that are just as focused on conversion as distribution. I genuinely believe that we're entering the golden age of consumer internet, powered by a whole new era of distribution channels and conversion tactics. We recently made investments in Discord, 4VR, Baller TV, Maker's Place, GameFam, SoulSavvy, Truebill, Pearpop, Co-op Commerce, and more that are all capitalizing on these trends. We hope our perspectives on distribution and conversion give you more insight into potential growth models for consumer businesses and the next gold mines. If you'd like to read more, check out our website at bvp.com/atlas for a deep dive.